Hello and welcome to the video tutorial of Smart Health Insure designed by Initech International FZE for the processing of medical claims. Please open an internet browser using Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome or Internet Explorer and type the web address www.smarthealthinsure.com to reach the home page. That's www.smarthealthinsure.com. You will have to enter the username and password assigned to you here. For the demo, the username would be training and password is test. Click on login and you will be directed to the main page. This has 3 links below the main link claim. Click on the first link, pending for processing scanned, to view the pending claims. Please note you'll be able to view only 15 claims at a time. As and when the claims are completed, new ones will be populated in the list. Ideally, you should start processing the claims in serial order. However, if you face any problem with a particular claim and are awaiting clarification on the same from the office, you may proceed to the next claim. Please note, once a user opens a claim, it will be allocated in his name and he has to ensure that he completes the entry within a week. For this demo, we shall use the claim number MS1208-01935 of Zuleika Hospital. Click on the link at the end of the row to open the claim. We are now on the data entry page. This page is split into two. The right side is the actual data entry side, and the left side has all the scanned documents from where you can get the details for entering the claim. Before we actually proceed with the data entry, let's have a look at the scanned documents available. The first one here is the invoice, which gives the patient name, the invoice number, the invoice date, the visit or the consultation date, the deductible or the co-pay amount, that's the amount which has to be collected from the patient, and of course a breakup of the various amounts charged. The second document in this list is the prescription, which has the doctor's signature and stamp on it. The third one here is the claim form mentioning the medical complaints and diagnosis, again with the doctor's signature and stamp. That's the claim form. And the fourth and final document in this list is the medical insurance card of the patient, mentioning the name, the card number, his date of birth, the validity of the card, the deductible, etc. Now moving on to the actual data entry. The first field is the region, which you will have to select as Dubai. Next is the facility. Since we are entering the claim for Zuleika Hospital, you'll have to choose Zuleika Hospital. You can put in the first few words of that name, you'll get it, Zuleika Hospital, Dubai. Next is the doctor name. Though it says doctor name, what you actually have to choose here is the doctor's specialization. In this case, since it is an MBBS, it would be considered as a GP. You can get that from the doctor's stamp here. See, it says MBBS, so we'll have to choose GP from the drop down. Next is the claim number, which is there by default. It would be a good idea to note down the claim number, as you might need to recall a claim should you get logged out of the system before completing the entry. The next field is the consultation date. That you will get it from the invoice, which is the very first document in this set. Consultation date or visit date is 20th June 2012. So choose 20th June from the calendar. Next is the member ID. The member ID can be obtained from the patient's insurance card or from the claim form. We will take it from the insurance card because it will be a little more clearer. The number is GM3128. Please note the member ID has to be entered in exactly the same way as it is mentioned on the card. If there are any spaces, it has to be entered as such. 3128. Click on tab to go to the next field. That's the member name. Choose the member name from the drop down. The date of birth appears by default. Please recheck the name and the date of birth from the insurance card. Next is the invoice number, which you can get, as I said, from the invoice. The invoice number here is FB02425871. FB02425871. Press tab to go to the next field. The invoice date, from the invoice you can make out it is 26 June. Press tab again. We have now finished the first segment. The second segment is the presenting complaint section. You need not enter this segment. Please note you have to enter fields which are in white background only. The ones which are shown in gray background need not be entered by you. So then we move on to the third segment, which is a treatment plan. This is split into three. First is consultation, the next is medication, the third is investigation or procedure. Click on the first tab, consultation. Under consultation type, you will have to choose new consultation, as consultation charges have been mentioned on the invoice. Usually for follow-ups, nothing is charged. The invoice number and the invoice date appear by default. The deductible also appears by default. You can make out that it is 25 dirhams as per the invoice. The gross amount of consultation you will have to take from the invoice. It's 125 dirhams. So enter 125, press tab, check if there's any discount given. In this case, a discount of 25 dirhams is there. So enter 25, press tab, click on apply so that the discount takes effect. Now you can see that the approved amount is 75 dirhams, which is correct as per the invoice. Under the sponsor amount on the invoice, you can find the amount 75. Just in case the claimed amount is more than the agreed or the approved amount, you will find an amount appearing on the denied column, and you will have to enter the denied reason. Once done, click on save to save your work up to that point. Please note, do not click on the finish button until all the entries have been completed. The next tab is the medication. From the invoice you can make out that 3 medicines have been dispensed. The first one is Gaviscon. So you can click on G and get the drug from the drop down, or to make it easier, you can put in the word Gaviscon, click on search, and again click on G here and take the medicine from the drop down, Gaviscon. The drug form here would be suspension because that's what is mentioned on the invoice. The strength, since there's only one strength, you have to choose that combination. Pack size, from the invoice you can make out it is 200 ml, so we go for 200 ml glass bottle. The invoice number and invoice date appear by default. The quantity you will take from the invoice, it says 1, so it's correct, 1, and the amount is also correct, 11 dirhams. Put the gross amount here as 11 dirhams, press tab, enter the discount if any, and check if the approved amount is as per the invoice, 11 dirhams. Just in case the claimed amount is more than the agreed amount, you will find an amount in the denied amount column and you will have to enter the reason. Click on add to get that medicine in the list below. Now the second medicine on the invoice is Rizeg 40 mg. So you can find Rizeg, click on search, click on the letter R and get Rizeg 40 mg from the drop down below. The drug form here would be, you will have to choose powder for infusion since the invoice says it is an injection. The strength is 40 mg. Pack size would be 1 vial. Invoice number and invoice date is there by default. The quantity here is 1. But as per the invoice, it says 1. Yeah, it is 1, so it's correct, and the amount is 4150. Put in the gross amount 4150. Press tab, enter the discount if any. The approved amount is 4150, which we can cross check with the invoice is correct. Click on add again and you find that the medicine is added to the list below. The third medicine to be added would be Ranid 150 mg. So you find Ranid, click on R, find Ranid 150 mg from the drop down. The drug form here would be film coated tablets. The strength is 150 mg. Pack size here, it says 20. So two strips of 10s, which is 20. Invoice number and invoice date, as usual, it's there by default. The quantity you will enter as 20. Press tab and you find that the amount appears there, 47 dirhams. It's correct. The approved amount is finally 47 dirhams, which you can cross check with the invoice. Click on add and you have all the 3 medicines in the list below. You can recheck this with the invoice to see that you have entered everything correctly. In case you wish to change a particular entry, you can go to this button here, click on that to delete that item and re-enter the same with the necessary corrections. Once the medicines are added, click on save and then move on to the next tab, which is the investigation or procedure. From the invoice you can make out that G and IV fluids have been used. So click on G and wait for the list to be populated. Then select the lab test from the list below. It is GN IV fluids. So you come down GN IV fluids OP 1 unit. That's what is mentioned on the invoice also. IV fluids OP 1 unit. Choose that. Quantity here would be 1. It says 1 here, so it's fine. 1. The gross amount you will have to enter. The gross amount is 70 dirhams. Enter 70. Press tab. Check if any discount has been given. There is a discount of 14 dirhams. Enter 14. Press tab. Click on apply for the discount to take effect. And finally, you get the approved amount as 56 dirhams, which we can check with the invoice is correct. 56. Click on add and you find that in the list below. Once that's done, click save. Now you're done with all the items that are mentioned on the invoice. In case you would like to have any clarification on any particular point of the invoice, you can put in your queries below here and send it to any of these concerned people. For instance, it could be a case of some medicines not listed, or the price of some medicines not matching with what is mentioned in the agreed amount. In that case, you will have to send the mail to Neetu. You can choose Neetu Mohandas. Neetu, okay. It's Neetu Mohan. Choose Neetu Mohan. Take the option referral and put your comments and post the message. Once you get the clarification, you can update all the entries again and close the claim. Now we have come to the end of the data entry. Once you have completed everything, you can click on finish. You get a dialog box which asks you to check if you have entered the consultation, medication and investigation, whatever is applicable, and whether you want to proceed. If you're sure everything is entered correctly, you can click on submit. And that claim is done with. You can close this window and open the next claim. Maybe it is the next one. You can say 1208011936. You can choose that and start processing the claim. If you go to the next link, view submission, you will find the claims that have been entered listed here. The one that we entered now is MS120801935. The status here is waiting for confirmation. In case you would like to view this claim once again, you can click on this link, view details, or if there is any editing to be done, you can click on edit and do the necessary changes. So that's all regarding the data entry. In case you require any other clarification, you can put in the referral to the person concerned. Thank you.